So, doing a little astrology, if I remember right, we have Venus heading up into conjunction with Jupiter, which should bring us a big, fat, calming effect for everybody, kind of looking into our domestic situations. Can't deny our level of ability to love, like our love ability, I think, through feeling, pardon the noise. And how is the mic? When just one person complains about the sound uh, problems, if there is any, that it's not real to me. If 20 people come on and say there's a problem with the microphone and stuff like that, then it is real. We're dealing with factor of, like, just now I started projecting my voice when I started talking about this. See, but I'm going through something that is designed, its design is to stifle my voice, separate me from my inner peace and who I am, and refill me with aversion that I'm having to put my foot down and saying, well, then let's go to court because I know me better than any of this, and all I'm going to do there is make statements and take my freedom to speak. And that's what we have coming up. There seems to be a layer out there, like a membrane that says, no, you can't say anything. And it's like, well, no, I can go to court and they'll find me not guilty. And then now I have my right to remain reality. And that's a huge conversation that needs to open up. Thank God for Gemini. We talk about that because they are the ones who dare to talk about talking, or let's talk about something that can't possibly be said, but we're going to label everything, and they do. They start putting title and label on everything, and that's how we have the world of encyclopedia and stuff like this. Not quite encyclopedia, but just the possibility that it's all there, and it starts to sift through like a darn Rolodex. And whether or not the encyclopedias come up with any of the right information, so that a 5-year-old can say, well, wow, this is like an experience of knowledge, which is just always past tense, a dead and dried kind of fact. It's not your experience. See, there's a diametric opposite of knowledge versus knowing. And so this conversation right now is called Buddhism, where we're just going to sit and drink some tea. Hopefully it's good tea from the back 40, and talk about these words, why there is even that difference. You can't say that the subconscious mind is the same as the unconscious mind. Hell no. A Buddhist or a scientist will even say, no, excuse me, that's great of you to start that subject content in creation here, but now it's time to know what we already know, Aquarius, because Pluto is there now saying is going to knock on the door of all of your closets and rifle through it, and we'll find out, well, uh, is it real or not? What are we afraid of? And it can never be the truth that's thrown out with Pluto, though. Pluto is one that says, nah, here it is, and it starts building foundation on what's solid left. And it's weird. It's strange with the narcissist's world. Now, here it is, minute 5, so I get to mention narcissism in my title, which is, there isn't any more important of a subject matter than dialing in on what are we even talking about now when we talk about narcissism. You'll hear me say Sam Vaknin or any of the others that do content creation. Now, back to people that are actually content enough that that they'll say something, even though it's hard to hear and even see. They pick up on the baby in that bathwater, and they hold it up and say, hey, this is it. See, that's what was so important to happen. And I hate to put it in past tense that, well, it could have happened. It was important that that happened over the last 26 years, that Facebook and social media has been up and running hot and heavy, that an algorithmic self-organizing playing happened where the organism began to isolate itself and says something like, hell no, we won't go, we don't pay for that, kind of, and communicate more and more and get more and more concentrated. But that didn't happen, not really. It didn't really happen. See, the thing is that thing of concentrating into more and more accessing well-being or using something right, which involves communicating in and of itself. Like, well, why is it even here? Okay, so we're in the era now that it's gonna burst out into a kaleidoscope of available communications that algorithmically, self-organizingly, that's a term, which you got to make up terms, babes. Don't be afraid to blend in words. That's what they always do in psychology. And even I made up a word like 2.5 years ago, recorded it on this thing uh, several times. That's a sign of a genius and a very advanced civilization who is, managing to move along the lines of communications. Really is the important. Let's just say, how high are you today? Sorry, the sun is coming up. Weird stuff going on with humanity. Who they're basically cuckoo, and see, it's like you have to go. You don't even use law enforcement to do anything. You just have to plan on putting yourself in the courthouse and see what kind of sacrifice goes on there. See, I'm hoping that it's more and more that people can come together about the language that they need to use to have this conversation, and yeah, just hold up the courthouse, hold it up. What I mean is just, yeah, it takes time. It passes time. It does remind me of the big Capricornian thing. See, but what's not happening, see, is Libra. See, it's going to start happening now. A whole generation of people are going to rise up, and it's going to be crazy because they're the Libra generation, and what that particular consciousness is the one that says I love. It's the part inside of the organism that wakes up to the mechanisms that are already in place, all of your senses, all of your faculty. Now, did you take the profound responsibility to turn it on and then engage with the platform there, which is called reality? Did I say that? Yes. And see, the truth is there. Like what you see in the back. What do you think that is, kids? I mean, what have you heard in English? When you have kids there, 12 kids, and you get the same answer, even if you can't hear it very well, the hearing thing is one thing, and it's true though. You want to, after a while, you want to discern anyway back to using your own faculties to the fullest. That doesn't let your inner world down, and that is to just keep peace. Believe it or not, it seems that well, there's an ecology, human-wise, but we see what I mean is we deal with each other, that it begins to, like, when I get the the vision of your inner world that is like empty, and you're like at peace, you're just with reality, right? And you know the truth. But then here comes people. Yep. They are, you've heard it. I've talked about this for the last 10 years, 12 years. It's like, and they're trying to be more real than now, man. You just got to take a deep breath, right? Pull that inner stillness up, which is, in fact, capable of becoming one with reality. In fact, if it isn't, then you're one of those people that might be trying to be more real than the truth in reality and or reality. See, the thing is that that's a disease called the mind. That means the mind is there and or people. See, I'm getting very close to talking about one of the more complex things. I've been beating around the bush about it for the last 6 years, but now it's like, it's not that I've repeated it so much that it became real. No, I see that reality is the truth, and when you say it enough, it begins to solidify in your perception. What, Shauna? What? Says my neighbors over there, the poor little babies. Most of the population are rendered up babies, and they have yet to graduate into this kind of thing. It's just a conversation, babes. You can't, you poor things, somebody told you no enough. They separated you away from you enough. Man. See, David Adele talks about it. Adele, sorry. So anyway, what was I talking about? Stay on it. Just, sorry. That's the nature of us masters. We're not gonna plug it right in. You have the responsibility of feeling your perception pull towards a subject matter and actually be interested in it. You know what I mean? Because really, it's very simple. What, Shauna? What is it? Oh, reality and the truth itself. But it's a profound responsibility that one day you'll feel that you have it, 2, 3 years old. And if you don't take it, if you're not able to take it with both hands, hello, narcissism forever, especially the southerly kind. If you have control freaks, no, that's what I was trying to get back to, is these control freaks think that they are more real than the truth. So there they are. What are they? People. Yeah, because see, technically they don't exist, but they don't know that they don't. And they don't like that idea. Let's get back to your inner realm. I guess you can call it the witness, but see, you wouldn't be able to prove to the narcissist that there's an inner witness that can see all and knows all unless you go out and you say, well, but do you see that camera up there? That gets them, you guys are kind of not making a breakthrough, and it's like, well, so they took the sky away from you and you don't have your inner sky. That's what's like, oh, okay, cut. There's people that aren't really there. There is no capacity to allow reality in or out. When have you gotten miserable enough in your so-called human relationships? See, I guess it doesn't matter if you're making enough money. Boy, I would love to get on that level, I guess. I guess I would love to get on that level. See, now, this is where I start to advertise. I have a 4-bedroom cabin in the woods. It's beautiful, to tell you the truth. I tend to kind of say that there's a lot that needs to be done. Of course, it needs work. That's what I think is a great thing, though. How about that movie where it's like, really, Shauna, we can move in now? Yes, and help me out. As long as it helps you out. See, I don't want to do abuse. I want to be useful. I want to be of use. Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, is that impossible? See, if it's money that we need for what? I just mentioned it. It's like, does it keep us numb and dumb to the real work that we're supposed to be, the real presence that we are supposed to achieve? Presence, now getting back to the currency. I would say that a sanctuary needs to be formed by having utilized that sanctuary that is already there. Did I say that? It's there. See, it needs to organize through communications. You go above so-called law enforcement because that's not the real law. You have to go to court. That's hard. See, a lot of times they make it to where the law enforcement throws you in there. Well, they're asking you to enforce some kind of law. It's never about the dummies, the obvious, like that. They're like the narcissist that just thinks it's all about them, right? Especially, right? Everybody else in there. I mean, it's about the truth. The people are not real. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for the information. Does these people know this? You know, these people that play the I am a lawyer, I am an attorney, I am a priest, I am a doctor, I am a dentist, whew, I am a insane person, sorry, I am a teacher, I am a husband, a wife, a mother, a father. Did you know all of those people are capable of becoming the highest possible role that we can possibly be to one another? And that is simply just a good friend. Welcome to Buddhism. We talk about the good friend in India. Before, I think, the 1990s, they were called the gurus, but I guess nobody likes them. And of course, we're blamed for you wanting to have sex with us all the time. That's the way love is. When it's real love, you experience two things. When you're practicing the higher octave of love, when you are a human being and you're fully present in the now, in animation with the truth, like you're just, woo, you're in vibrational frequency, two things happen. People are extremely attracted. Of course, that's happened naturally. I mean, that's the underlying thing. But fear comes on, and then you're challenged. And um, kids can like you really easily. People who are over it, kind of over the mind, and they are more connected with God. Oh, you're right there. See, I'm talking about sanctuary, something that naturally goes on. Can't happen without just simply communicating it. Now, how like scarce it is, how fucking rare it is in the Western modernized culture. Yeah, it used to be, I mean, it is in the East that you go there, and there's where you also see more prevalent is, and on display, like they're trying to protect it more, is the way that they lived 600 years before Christ. Now that's when I put my cover photo to this video is going to show you some of those statues that they were not built by hand by chisels, people doing chisels. No, that's technological base, 3D printers that were able to vibrationally create liquid out of granite and even separate crystals and make a certain section a certain way. And they did that and made civilization all over this earth and the intergalactic plane. That's just what the human capability is when they integrate technology into their own consciousness. Isn't that weird? Because we have that kind of coming up where oh, here comes Neuralink and here's all this stuff, and it's like, babes, that's what they are supposed to do. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's like, it's not supposed to be so that like this. It's like, no, did you know it's magnetic electrically that you can, if it's doing the right thing along the ley lines of geometry. I almost want to say like musically the God vibration, and this is not good news for people who are living on, well, they call it demon time. Vibrations of the demonic is the opposite of the harmonic. Very controversial, right? Right? Yes, it is. That's what Christ Jesus was, a scientist who went like this. I'm going to sacrifice myself over here to this place that all they can do is log it in. That's like the oldest log in. They write it down in a piece of wood and they store it, right? In Tibet, there's a place that they've done this, but for 6,000 years before Christ's aware, which is just Buddha doing something over there. uh, Usually is a feminine figure, by the way, long hair. Maybe she does get a 5 o'clock shadow by the end of the day if she's Greek or Israeli or whatever, but no need to be prejudiced against her like that. Maybe she was sexually free also. She's like, I thought we were supposed to heal each other. Oh, excuse me. Those fucking people at church that don't even have a genital. They have an organ playing all the time, though. Isn't that weird? Is that the organ we're talking about? No, minute 19, and all of a sudden this got interesting to my new subscriber. What I'm going through? trying to constantly, I'm trying to repair my brains. It's like, I'm fucking noticing that it's like, Shauna, okay, so this is serious. When are you gonna get really serious? The problem is, it's like, never. I mean, do I have to? I'm saying it that good, aren't I? That what? I would like friends. Pluto and Aquarius over there. Aquarius in your astrological chart rules friends. Really, it's the 11th house. Sorry. See, but 11th house and Aquarius are the same vibration. So you look at what's in the 11th house. A lot of people don't have Aquarius in the 11th house like I do, but I have the natural chart, which is Aries on the 1st, Taurus on the 2nd, Aquarius on the 11th, Libra on the 7th. And anyway, I do astrology. I can do it very well. I would rather teach it. And so I was going to offer up a key, like one of these days. Every once in a while, I'm just going to put a key up. What it is that there's symbols, okay, that represent the planets, and then there's symbols that represent the signs. Now, for the people that are skeptical about astrology, it's like all it is a symbol system that it's an esoteric language, right? That all it can do is point at an experience in outer space called the truth. That's all. That's what's really cool about astrology. It's been around for so long, and they've lined it up. Like when you say Mars, you have a rulership book that your mind can thumb through, because that's what you're talking about when you say Mars. And or Aries, who Mars rules men, right? You know Mars sign, men, man, everything about men, right? Okay, the sweat, the pumping iron. Perhaps they are harsh, okay? So I don't want to get into this because we have a huge book to thumb through, and if you can't just call it up into your I know already factor, then maybe you need more meditation. It's not about thinking. Nope, you don't think here. No, that's a hindrance. Uh-oh. Okay, we'll get to that soon. We're certainly not thinking when we go to the courthouse, are we? Whew! Don't have to do any of that there. We don't have to remember anything, especially if it's the truth. You just walk in there, you say, no, that's not my business that you're handing me. I'm bringing my business now, which is my ability to remain silent. Whoever the fuck Miranda was, she was a woman, by the way. And when she says we have the right, we take the right to remain silent, what she's saying is we have the right to remain reality and or the truth. So are you going to lock me in here for the rest of my life? Just under the time it takes for you people to figure out that we live in a place that is beyond all words and symbols. That it's just a void called reality, and each individual has a responsibility to log yourselves in and become a reliable presence to it through feelings. Through feelings. That's how I'm being found not guilty here. Thank you. I'll let you know when I have a passion or feeling, and I do get passion, and I do have feelings behind it. So I don't want to be fooled here anymore. See, now, let me just pull out something more easier for the kids to deal with when it comes to this celebration that we got to do over there at the courthouse. Babes, that place, that means that, okay, it's been happening for 2026 years, that it's been logging in the way that they can't get along. And you're completely off, and what's happened?